and welcome to my channel here at BlueBrumby. Today I'll be showing you how I made this lovely card using the Tim Holtz Crazy Birds stamp and die set. I'm going to try and make this same card that I made a couple of years ago now. I'm going to try and recreate it all the same. I haven't got exactly everything I need, but I have most things I need. So most of the card requires some good old Tim Holtz and the Quirky Birds. So we've got both the Tim Holtz stamp and I've also got the framelets to die cut them out as well. I have already pre-stamped most of these dudes, and normally what I do is that I stamp several of the same ones. You can either use them for spares later on if you want to use them for a different project, or if you're not quite sure what colours you want to use. I'm chronic for never knowing exactly what colours I want to use, so I want to give myself plenty of opportunity to make plenty of mistakes and not really worry about it. I'm just going to try and put another cute dude in this corner here. Which guy's going to fit? He looks like he's going to fit nicely. So I'm going to use some Archival ink, because that means it won't have any problems when it comes to using some of the Copic pens. It won't smudge the same. You can see here, I've done a little demo. This is the Stays On ink. Stays On ink's not a problem, but it's not recommended. The Archival is the most recommended one when it comes to alcohol inks because it won't bleed. But if you're using a pigment one, watch out. You might need to leave it a lot longer to dry, and even then it still might smudge and bleed with your colouring, so do watch out for that. So just take the ink pad, press down with some black Archival ink. Make sure I've got enough space because I'm going to need to die cut some of these guys out. That looks good. A bit of a press down. Now the Tim Holtz range is really good. I've never had a problem with the dies or the stamps ever. They've never been difficult to stamp with. Always been one of the better companies out there for stamps and dies. Just generally make them so easy, and they've thought them well. They've thought them through really, really quite well. I'm just going to give them a bit of a rub down. A bit of a wipe off there. Place him back. And I think I'm going to do this one here. Now I generally look at my markers and go lighter to darker, and I always give them a little test on the outside of the paper just so I know what colours they are and what order I've got them in, so I know exactly which pen's going to make what kind of colour. I know they have the colours on them, but I always feel like they come out fractionally different than you always expect them to, and it's always helpful to see all the colours side by side. We've coloured our birds. We've got them all ready. They're still on the sheet there. And it's time to get cutting them out. So I just want to lightly chop round the birds I'm going to die cut out. Just to make it easier. So that all the these other guys are free to be coloured in and used for a completely different project we like. But normally I'd colour them all in together at the same time, so I had loads ready to go. So, we have a lovely Sizzix machine here. Hopefully you can see most of this. I'm not entirely sure if you can. It's got my bird and my die. There's some lovely low-tack tape, which I don't always use. I get a bit lazy a lot of the time. I know a lot of people use it to tape them down just so they know not going to move. Being this my first actual craft recordings, shaky hands and all, probably wise to actually give it a go. So just put a little bit down there. Now if this doesn't come out right, this is probably my fault rather than the Tim Holtz and Ranger company, because I tell you what, their dies are incredible. They do tiny little bits and it always pops out beautifully. See, it's already popped out. Just take my low tack tape out. It's already ripped to the paper. That's good for low tack. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Not an inch of purple. You have to keep all the purple there. Now look at that. Amazing. Even the little bits there. Beautiful. Just do it again. Put all the rubbish on the floor. Good old crafter style. And making sure you're using the right die for the right bird. That on there. I'm going to use the same bit of tape. But I think you've noticed, even from last time I was fortunate that I put it at the top and didn't actually put it on the bird. So I'm not going to trust my low tack tape. Our crazy bird. Always had the intention of doing 8x8 card. Now this is a little bit bigger and a little bit more daunting than I'd normally like, but we're going with it because I don't have any 8x8 black cards. I'm going to make it a black background. So just put it up to the corner. You can mark there. You can mark there. And again, I know it's one of those things where everyone has their own different versions of how they cut things out, how they measure up. Sometimes I do things by eye. Most of the time I just do this little pencil trick where I put a little mark in it. I'm not too fussed, to be honest. There we go. Love Fiskars. Nothing like a Fiskars. If you don't know what to get for a cutting machine, go with Fiskars. Just check, see how far that is. That's really good. Double-sided sticky tape. Just put it all the way around. This tip is the best tip I've ever been given from Wendy Stanton. I went on a course. If you're never sure about how you're going to stick something down if it goes wonky, because we all know that they go wonky, just peel up the corners from each side, press it down, and you have these little flaps. So the risky bit is taking this one off, because of course you want it still to stick down. So you can either get it to go really long and out to the side, but I normally just go with it, because I know not to press it down in the middle, which goes that way. And then you've got these little flaps that stick at the top, which means you're not going to actually stick it down until you're happy with it, because if I line that up a little bit wrong, a lot of the time you can save it and peel it off. Not all the time, not gonna lie, you can't always save it. You can always reuse it as a black bit of card. So I stuck it down there, quite confident, pull out the tabs. It's stuck down lovely. Now if I've measured out fractionally wrong, moment of truth, you can see I've got a little bit of lip there. That's not a worry. Just get my scissors, trim it down, and you've got the perfect size again. Hope you can see that. Okay. Do the same again, and I do this for every single card that I do. takes most of the worry out of it. If you really have a card that you've stuck it down horribly wrong, I've had one or two in my time, reuse it. Reuse the bit of card, have a really thick bit of card for a sentiment, make sure you go through it a couple of times to make sure you cut it out properly, or use it in another backing, or even just use it for, like, I don't know, put a stencil over it and ink over it. Plenty of things you can do with it. So now we've got our backing. Now the one bit that went a bit funny, that I can't do exactly the same as the last one, was the backing paper, because the backing paper I had for my original one does not exist anymore. However, we can just alternate a different background. First, I need a lovely circle tie. So this is BigShot Stampin' Up's own from Sizzix, where they have them, and I've put it on a little bit of like magnetic there, and I can't remember how big the pieces were, so even though I haven't got the second backing on, I can always sort of improvise a feeling of how it might look and roughly get the right kind of size. So I think it's the inner rim, so maybe that feels too bold, so I think it's probably about that size, feels about right. And I just want to double check with the sentiment. The original sentiment I used was this hello one that's here. I do have other ones with me. Let's see if I like them more. I quite like that. Thank you. The good thing about the hello is it goes from one end of this circle straight off the other side. I think we're still going to go with the hello. I think we're going to go with the hello. So at least I know that's the right size, so I don't have to worry about that. So that's what I was checking there. So all I'm going to do, move those things aside. Knowing that that's the right size circle, I'm going to have a circle in black because there's going to be a bit of backing paper there, so it will have the contrast of the black with the black outside still with it. And I'm going to put that through my BigShot again. Just quickly run a circle through. There we go, got a lovely bit of circle there. All ready to go. I'm going to stamp the hello, and I'm going to stamp it with this high boss embossing stamp pad, so it means it's completely clear. And some people get a bit nervous stamping completely clear because you can't see it. That's not necessarily true. You can still see it, it's just that a lot of the time you have to give it a little bit of a tilt. Just give it a little bit of a tilt and you'll be able to see it. So let's give it a stamp, and I'm going to do it in a silver, and I've got heat up embossing powder and silver here on standby. And I just use a scrap bit of paper, you know, just printed paper, give it a nice score down. It doesn't have to be straight, it's just going to be there to collect the powder afterwards. So, got my hello. Give it a bit of a press down. Make sure my hello fits in. Down. Get off there. Get my embossing powder. Give it a bit of a tap. That back in there. You can see that I've got a little bit on the paper, but it does not matter. I'm not using that bit. Just get our hello. Watch out for your fingers if it gets a bit hot. There we go. There's our sentiment. And like I said, we don't have the original backing paper at the moment. We do have some lovely papers from the works, keeping it nice, cheap and cheerful there. And I have no idea what's going to suit it. I had a lovely stripy one originally. I think I like the light grey because it generally meant that the colours stood out quite nicely. And I liked it trying to be, you know, suitable for like anyone, a kind of neutral kind of colour. That's quite nice. It's got quite a lot going on it, but it's got the quirky little wispy bits that they have in their hair. Or a dotty one. It's quite neutral and quite nice. It's not too powerful either. I think it's probably going to be one of those two. Right, so same as always, what I do, I don't like sticking things down generally until I'm pretty much good to go. I'll just have a quick demo of what it could look like. Now that looks pretty cool already. Oh, I've got to go with that. I don't even want to look at the next one because it's just so nice. I'll go with that. Sorry, other bit of paper. So just need to chop it down to size. So as always, where's my pencil gone? Get my pencil there. And I don't mind making a mark on the paper, and I'll do it by eye. So I just line it up there to look about approximate to each other, and I'll make a little line there and a little line there. And it doesn't always work, but as I've been saying, it doesn't matter if it doesn't work. You trim a little bit off more, you balance it back out, see where you can go from there really. Just line it with my marks. See how accurate or inaccurate I was. Look at that, beautiful. So before I stick it down, I want to put everything else down. So I'm going to put my sentiment right in the middle. I'm just using 3D foam pads here. It in the centre, maybe a bit of a jaunty angle, that'd be quite nice. Just doing it by eye, not going to worry too much. Looks about right, it's fine. It's fine. And I don't normally use wet glue for sticking down little pieces like these guys, but in this case I'm going to use the Cosmic Shimmer because we're only sticking so much of the birds down. So I want to be able to cut them off easier, and I don't want my tape in my scissors because it's a lot harder to take off than it is a bit of Cosmic Shimmer at the end. Cosmic Shimmer is the best glue I know of, that is the acrylic glue. So just going to approximate roughly where I want these birds. I'm trying to echo one of the old ones, the old card I had. So they were somewhere around there, hence why I'm putting them on sort of. And we're going to chop those bits off, so it's not going to worry. So we want to get as much of their character in as possible, so their faces are probably more important than the rest. Bit of a shame, but this card I think it's going to look great. So I'm just going to pop a bit of glue down, and I know it's only going to be the top bit, so I'm not going to worry about too much of the bottom bit. Just stick his cute little face just in there. Same with this guy. I don't want to put loads on it either. I don't want to put his hair. And if I'm just a bit unsure about putting too much on, I just spread it out over because they're just tiny little bits there. So we don't want to obsess it too much. Like that. And it feels like it's going to buckle a little bit because of the wet glue, but it will dry out. And Cosmic Shimmer is one of the strongest acrylic glues out there. And it always dries clear, and it always works out well in the end. Don't know why, it just does. They're a great company. So if you're in doubt, get yourself a Cosmic Shimmer. Press down. So just get your scissors, just follow the edge. It feels a bit cruel because you're trimming off their feet, but do not worry, the overall effect is amazing.
do is stick that one down there. Now we'll use double-sided sticky tape, exactly the same as before. Go around the corners. And yes, I will be doing the little peel back bit. Top tip of the tape. Top tip of tape. Most important part. And because it's such a big piece, I'm not going to do one right across the middle, but I'm actually going to do two because it's 8 by 8 side card. It's quite big, so I'm just going to peel up the tape. If you ever struggle peeling it back, what I do is just give it a little press down at the ends where you're going to get hold of it. It should help to peel back there. She says, and finds it difficult. Again, don't forget to peel your middle ones off. Double check which way your card goes. Double check which way your sentiment's going. Make sure those flats are stuck out so it gives you a go at getting it down properly. I think that looks comfortable there, and I press in that corner there and it seems to fit lovely. Pull out the tapes. Give it a bit of stick down as you go around. And there we go. There you have it. Thank you for joining me today, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've made one similar, let me know, share it with me. Feel free to message me, show me an image. I'd love to. I'm on loads of social media links. I'll pop them in the video. Everything that I've used today will also be in the description down below. Please let me know. I'd love to see what you've done. Thank you very much. See you guys. To my YouTube channel. No idea what I'm about to do.